Hi, Director of Communications here at Brentwood, Ian McPherson, joining you for our third Spotlight Q&A this week. Last week we sat down with Dee Dee to get a student perspective of things. This week we're sitting down with our Director of Academics, Deputy Head Cheryl Murtland, to get an understanding from the faculty side of how things are going. Cheryl, thanks for joining us. A couple of questions for you. The first one is, what's impressed you the most about Brentwood's approach to distance learning?
What has impressed me the most? I would have to say the flexibility and adaptability of our students and teachers. So we left on spring break not knowing, obviously, that we were going to be in this situation, and instead of welcoming students back into our classrooms, we had to quickly become familiar with the technology and the ability to put our classes online and create the environment for learning to happen, but to also still feel connected to each other. And that's not easy. And students were in all different places, and some had gone somewhere that they thought they would be there for 2 weeks, and then there was a scramble to try to get home, and self-isolation and lockdown, and all of these things were happening, and yet learning was happening. And that's incredible. No one signed up to work at Brentwood because it was an online school, and our students did not enroll at Brentwood because it was an online school. But what really seemed to drive us was that desire to see each other and to feel like Brentwood was still happening. And I think we've done a really good job of that. The students have quickly adapted to going into a breakout room that's virtual instead of moving to a spot in the classroom where a group can work together. And the teachers have taken all of these plans that they had and quickly adapted them to say, okay, what will work, what won't work in this platform. They learned how to use Zoom, and the first week was I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen and get students to share their screen and put people in breakout rooms. And now they're taking a look at it and saying, okay, I've got that down. What else can I do? And getting feedback from students to give them some ideas too. So the quickness with which everyone was able to get to the task at hand really impressed me.
Yeah, there's no doubt that distance learning was ramped up really quickly and with a lot of enthusiasm, and we've been working really hard as a staff to deliver some programming. Although there's still some questions out there, some gray area around provincial assessment. Perhaps you could sort of clarify what provincial assessment looks like. And also, I know my advisees have asked me, does the work count?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the count is on the number of emails or the number of times I've been asked questions about assessment in meetings, what that total is. When the Minister of Education in British Columbia, Rob Fleming, announced that there would be this indefinite suspension of classes in the schools, he said that students would still receive a final grade, that those on track to graduate would still graduate, and those looking to be promoted to the next grade would do so. And then it was kind of vague for quite a while. Most recently, we've received the instruction that teachers are to continue to assess the learning of their students. And as classes are continuing in whatever way they are in the province, that teachers continue to have that responsibility. So grades are not frozen. They are not necessarily going to be in June what they were in March. Grades can go up, grades can go down, depending on the work that the students are doing. And one of the key factors in the grades for right now is to ask teachers to take a look at the situation that the students are in. So if we have students who are watching recorded classes, they're not necessarily going to be in the same situation as somebody who's able to participate live in the classes. We want the communication to be really good between the students and teachers so that when there's a question or something is not being understood, that the students are able to get those questions answered. Assessment as well may look a little different because we're in a different environment now. And I've asked teachers to take a look at making assessments around smaller amounts of material instead of looking for a larger cumulative assessment. And the reason for that is what we know about the brain is when it's stressed, or when the body is stressed, the brain cannot hold information the same way and it can't organize it the same way. So we want to make sure that students have lots of opportunities to show their understanding. Just to be clear though, grades are not frozen from March, and the work that students are doing does really count.
Yeah, I think that really helps our parents get some context to the programming, knowing that it matters. And having said that, we currently have Brentwood students registered for 400 AP exams to be sat in May. I guess my question is, May's coming up quickly. Do you think they're going to be ready?
AP exams were something that was, a big question mark as everybody moved to this online distance learning. The College Board has responded with really clear instructions about how they're going to work. And I have full confidence in our students and teachers that they are going to be very well prepared for the AP exams. The switch to a 45-minute exam instead of 3 to 4 hours demands a lot of adjustments, but the goal is to have students have the opportunity to show their learning in a way that will allow them to take any resources that they have at the time to contribute to their answers, but to show what they really understand. And our students have been working with their teachers all throughout the year, and they continue to work with them and will up until the exam. And so they're preparing them well. Next week, a student guide will be distributed so that students can go on and try an exam as a practice, so they can try out their technology and see what it looks like to access the exam and then to upload answers. So that kind of practice will make them very well prepared for the AP exams.
Last week I asked Dee Dee what she missed the most, and I believe it was number one, inspection was certainly really top of the list. What's it been like for you? What do you miss the most during this time of distance learning?
Well, unlike Dee Dee, I have the advantage of still living on campus, so I still get the view. I have the amazing weather that we've been having. But what I really miss is the energy. The campus is quiet. It is so quiet. And those of us who choose to work in schools do so because we love the energy. And that's missing right now. So when I sit in my house and go from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting, as many students know, I'll often take a break to Zoom myself right into someone's class because I just need to see the students. I need to hear their voices. I need to hear the interactions between the teachers and the students because that gives me energy. And if not, I have to rely on myself. So I think the thing that I miss the most is just that energy that we would normally feel when everybody's here on campus.
I totally understand and hear you. There's an excitement when we're together as a community. There's an energy there that certainly I appreciate. I miss all of my advisees and more. So I think your sentiment is something that is shared by everybody on staff. Cheryl, thanks so much for joining us this week. Really appreciate your insights. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back with another spotlight for you soon. Take care of yourselves, and remember, we're all in this together.